Hi, my name's Brian Whittington, and I'm the founder of EBS Growth. Recently, somebody had asked, hey, is it worthwhile to ensure that my data is correct? Now, my answer is a resounding yes. And here's why. If you look at the biggest lever that you have on which you can pull to drive pipeline generation, that top of the funnel call to connect rate or email reply rate is the critical most important. Watch what happens. So if these numbers are correct, more or less, now there you can argue yours might be a little bit better, but on average, you're going to find between 3 to 5% of people will pick up the phone, or maybe you get a 1% reply rate in an email, or 12% reply rate in an email, whatever the case might be, over a sequence. And then let's say 1 in 10 of those pick up or accept a meeting off of those reply rates, connect rates. 60% show, 60% of those who show go to pipeline, and maybe you close 1 in 5, right? So that's kind of the idea. These are the numbers here of how that works. Now, if that's true, and it's going to be plus or minus in your world, we look, most people do about 50 attempts per day, a little bit under that, but according to the Bridge Group, about 47-ish attempts per day. So if these numbers are all true, in order to do enough activity to have 139 conversations to win one deal, if all of these numbers are true, it's going to take one sales rep 69 days to do those roughly 3,500 dials. Now, again, the biggest lever that you have is right here in this call to connect rate. So let's say that we can double it. Let's say that we can move it to 8%. You've now obviously cut in half what you were able to do, what you needed to do attempt-wise to call rate. Now, if you do the work that we have on phone ready leads, what we've been able to do is take your stereotypical 3% call to connect rate, the 2.87 here, and move that to a 27.44 connect rate. So we typically find between 15 to 30, but let's use this as an example, this 27%. So if it's that 27% that we're able to do, you'll find now instead of 35 and 1,700, which is again half of what it was before, let's take this up to 27. Well, let's take it up to 23. That was the last pilot I ran. So 23%. Now, instead of 3,400, instead of 1,700, now we're down to 604 attempts to have the same 139 conversations to put the same process through to win one deal. So it's the same bad message. It's the same bad sales process. Everything is exactly the same. The only thing that we've changed is that top of the funnel leverage, outreach to connection rate. And notice, same 50 dials, but it only takes now 12 days to do these 604 activities. Now, watch what happens. As you're having more and more conversations, you're going to bump this up. Say instead of 10%, you're up to 15%. Instead of 60%, you get like us, and you're at 80%, 90%. And instead of at 60%, because now you're highly targeted, running more effective sales calls, now let's say that's 70%. Even if we don't focus on changing the close rate, and that's what everyone tends to focus on is the close rate, if we work on that top of the funnel, now instead of those 69 days that it was originally, you're down to 5 days. So for that reason, my encouragement is absolutely do what you need to do in order to get a good list, a good targeted list, where you know who's going to pick up the phone, who's going to reply to email, and who is going to be on the social channels that you're leveraging to reach out to those. If you do that work up front, the cost savings and time to generate the activities needed to have the number of conversations, which by improving these numbers here, we went from 139 conversations down to 60. I mean, it's just unbelievable what you can do with this, because now if you look at your customer acquisition cost, you're at $19.49 if all of this is true. But if we go back to where it was, where most organizations are, you are at 26,000 customer acquisition cost and back to your 69 days. So just change that one piece and you can have some massive impact. Hopefully this is helpful. Thanks, everyone.